You've probably seen the title of this video and are wondering where I could possibly be going with this. After all, everyone knows what sex is, right? But what do we mean when we say sex? Oral, anal, phone, what counts? Are how many sexual partners have you had and how many people have you had sex with two different questions? How do non-straight people have sex? Once we start asking these questions, it becomes obvious that the answer to what sex actually is might not be quite that clear-cut. It also lets us see just how flimsy the flawed concept of virginity is, but that's a topic for another day. If you simply Google what is sex, like I did in preparation for making this video, the first thing you'll see is PlannedParenthood.org telling you that people define sex in different ways, and that's pretty much it in a nutshell. There is no uniform, one-size-fits-all experience when it comes to sex. Despite the fact that we're socialised to only acknowledge the experiences of those that are straight, cisgender, able-bodied and monogamous, the fact is that there are people all over the world that don't fit that criteria, and that is of course going to affect their sex lives. For example, let's say a bisexual guy has had sexual relations with two men and two women. With one woman he had your standard penis and vagina intercourse. With another he had oral and anal sex. With one guy he had anal sex as well, but with the other he just did oral. All of these experiences are as legitimate and valid as each other, not to mention common, yet our society only likes to portray the first one as being normal sex, barely even acknowledging the others anywhere other than in porn. So, how many people has this fictional guy had sex with? 1, 2, 3 or 4? What if the penis and vagina incident only lasted a few seconds? Does he count some experiences with one sex but not the other? Does quality make a difference, like how I don't count the fourth Indiana Jones movie? Well, it'd be up to him to decide. It's for no one else to say other than the person whose experiences they are. A lot of people also believe that orgasm and or penetration have to occur for it to count as sex, but this doesn't account for the fact that 1 in 3 people with vaginas experience orgasmic dysfunction, regardless of how much pleasure, penetration, or stimulation they've received. It doesn't make sense to discredit these people's experiences just because they didn't result in climax. After all, orgasm is not the only point of sex. If it was, it'd be quicker and easier to just masturbate. On a similarly yet opposite vein, penetration also doesn't have to occur for orgasm too. For example, in situations where external vibrators are involved. And this brings me to another point. What about sex involving toys? Particularly those experiences where toys are used in place of body parts. What about assisted masturbation in the form of cyber or phone sex? What about those experiences that may be very sexual to people with specific fetishes or kinks, which aren't quite the same thing by the way, but wouldn't be to someone else? Well, all of these things are still sexual experiences shared with another person, and I think that's really the only requirement for a sexual encounter to really count. That and of course the complete and enthusiastic consent of all parties involved. So at the end of the day, how you categorise and count your sexual experiences is up to you. It's no one else's place to try and dictate the validity of your sex life based on arbitrary conditions, and anyone that tries to do so clearly hasn't given enough thought to the variation and complexity of sex. Maybe send them this video if they're still having trouble with the idea that it can be more than just. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, then please leave a comment and subscribe if you'd like to see more of me in the future. My name's Alex, take care, and I'll see you next time.